A lot of men are waiting for applause and encouragement that's never coming. Not from friends, not from family, not even acquaintances. And if we're being honest, sometimes not even from the people who are closest to us. And at some point, every man has to learn how to move anyway. I grew up an only child. Now, being an only child sounds pretty cool when people hear it. People think you had it easy. No siblings, no competition, all the attention. But let me tell you something. Growing up an only child will teach you a few things. It'll teach you how to entertain yourself really quick. Because sometimes when you want to go outside and play, and there are numerous times when I wanted to go outside and play, the answer is no. I can remember looking out the window and or looking out the garage on several occasions. I mean, many days, all the kids seemed to be outside. I mean, it felt like that to me. Basketball bouncing, football flying, everybody laughing, and I'm inside the house, right? And when you're a kid, that feels like punishment. You're thinking, man, everybody's outside except me, living their best life. And I'm in here with homework and cornbread, hot water cornbread. And my mother would say the same thing every time. Boy, and nobody could say boy like mother could. Go find you something to do. And that's a dangerous sentence for a young guy because find you something to do means you're about to invent a whole new universe. So you start playing imaginary basketball games in the house. No hoop, no crowd, just you. You know how we did it? 5, 4, 3, countdown. Henderson for the win. Crowd goes crazy. Ah. And the crowd happens to be the couch. And the couch ain't impressed at all. But looking back, I realized something. That wasn't punishment, gentlemen. She was preparing me. That was preparation. Mother wasn't just telling me to go find something to do. She was teaching me how to move without applause, how to create my own energy, how to keep going without someone cheering me, how to stay engaged, even when nobody was watching. And let me be clear, that doesn't mean I didn't have support, not at all. My mom, she showed up every day, every game, football, baseball, basketball. Even the one year I tried to run track. She was at the Easter program because, of course, she was the one that put me in it. Christmas plays, every little church production where you had 2 lines and a paper robe, she was there. And that matters. But my dad was different. Now, he came to maybe 2 games that I can remember. Could have been more, probably was more, but I can only remember 2. One of them was a baseball game. He saw me strike out. You know how it goes. But the other one was a basketball game. I think I scored 15 in that game. But when you're young, you notice this kind of stuff. I mean, who's watching? Who's in the stands? You could hear the voice in the stands. You don't even have to look behind you. You know. But what you don't understand at that age is why. Most of what a man does won't get applause, gentlemen, because it's not performance, it's infrastructure. And when you become a man, you start to understand something. Sometimes the loudest support isn't applause, it's consistency. And I want to explain to you briefly for the brothers who don't understand what infrastructure really looks like. See, infrastructure looks like paying the bills, keeping the lights on, keeping a roof over everybody's head. Sure enough. But it also looks like emotional stability, not panicking when things go wrong. Being someone that your kids, your spouse can lean on. It looks like leadership, making decisions, creating order instead of chaos or drama, right? It also looks like, and primarily, a spiritual alignment, which means staying aligned with God, seeking guidance through prayer, attending regular worship, being around the body of Christ, people of like minds, leading with purpose, not ego. And let me drop a footnote here. I heard a guy say ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity. I'll let that sit for a while. And it looks like opportunity, creating access, opening doors, putting your family in a better position, even if you or they don't see it yet. The first thing that comes to my mind is investing. But most men think providing equals just money. And most men won't make enough money in their lifetime for it to define who they really are. Think about that. Money is just one piece of the infrastructure, right? A man, he can make money and still fail if everything else is unstable. Does that make sense? So that taught me something early. A man doesn't always get applause, but the assignment, it still matters. Which is why every man needs his own program. I mean, my mentor drilled this in my head. You need to have your own program, your own agenda, your own itinerary. Others can come alongside and partner with you, and it's welcomed. But a man needs his own mission, his own structure. Because if you don't have a program, guess what? People will put you on their program. And let me tell you what they have for you on theirs. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Or just enough to use you. You ever notice how some people only call you when they need you or when they need something from you? That's not partnership. That's casting. They're casting you in a role that benefits them. And if you don't know who you are, you'll play that role. Because when you don't define your purpose, guess what? Somebody else will redefine your role. And it usually won't be the role, gentlemen, that you were designed for. Make no mistake. That's why a man has to know he's assigned, even when you don't hear clapping, when you don't hear applause, because every man reaches a season when the applause stops. The encouragement slows down. Let me tell you, I used to celebrate my birthdays religiously, but now something more important took its place. I stopped celebrating the day I was born. I started honoring the man I'm becoming. Because we know age is automatic, but growth, that's intentional. And that's the line right there. That's what a line is. That's where you separate purpose living from surface living. A lot of the most important seasons in a man's life are in quiet, when you're learning, when you're rebuilding, when you are correcting mistakes or just accepting mistakes, when you're trying to figure things out. Nobody celebrates that part. Nobody celebrates that. They celebrate results, the highlight, right? ESPN, the finished product, not the whole game, not the infrastructure, not the construction. People love the finish line. They just don't like all that noise that come with construction. You know, the jackhammer, the hammer, nail guns. It can be messy and loud. Bulldozers. Most men build their lives quietly. No spotlight, no ceremony, just responsibility. Raising children, holding their families together, working jobs they don't love. I'm talking 80% of the time. Trying to become something better. And in those seasons, encouragement doesn't always show up. Sometimes the room gets quiet, and sometimes people don't understand what you're doing. Sometimes people just flat out doubt you. And sometimes the only voice to keep you going is yours and God's. Make no mistake about that. Have you ever tried to encourage yourself? I mean, sitting in a car like, all right, let's go be great today, sir. Then 5 minutes later, all right, maybe tomorrow. That's real. But this is where discipline comes in. And discipline is really a mindset. Because when the applause disappears, the mindset has to take over. You wake up anyway. You work anyway, correct? You build anyway. You do it anyway. And you improve anyway. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It cares what needs to be done. Let me say this clearly. Moving without applause, it's okay. You are not alone. Some of the strongest men I know build the most important part of their lives in silence. They build discipline in silence, finances in silence, a mindset in silence, character in silence. Nobody sees the early mornings or late nights. Nobody realizes the pressure and the battles. But that's the part that builds the man. So if you're in a quiet season right now, don't mistake silence for failure. It might just mean you're in a building season. And building seasons don't come with applause. They usually come with work, repetition, consistency. They usually come with showing up, even when you don't feel like it. If I did things when I felt like it, man, I'd never do anything. I mean, nothing. But maybe that's why those moments as a kid mattered so much. Standing in the garage, shooting an imaginary game shot. No crowd, no applause, no noise, just me. And maybe life was preparing me early because mentally, each one of us, each one of you are going to hit a moment where there's no audience, no cheering section, no validation, just you. and the assignment. And the question becomes, can you still take the shot when nobody's watching? Can you still show up when nobody's clapping? Can you still move when nobody's encouraging you? Because some men need applause to keep moving. But assigned men, they move because they understand the assignment. I'm K.R. Henderson. This is Second Wind. Truth with oxygen. And remember something. You're not late. You're assigned.